We're live. Call the meeting back to order. We're on 8.1, second final notice to repeal current personal policy and replace it with the new human resources policy.
Yes. So you have a draft of the new human resources policy. Nothing major has changed in it. There are a few changes highlighted in there from the last version. So there's some redlining and strike throughs in there. Nothing changes the intent of what we had intended to do. What we changed were mostly moving sections because we noticed they were in the wrong section of the policy. So we moved them in the correct section. The only thing that I would note is that in section 4.4, the flexible work section, we did remove 2 bullets under the eligibility, just to clarify who's eligible, because it did say in there that if you attend public meetings, you're not eligible for it, which really wasn't the intent of this. The intent is frontline staff may not be eligible for the remote work pieces of it. So we just clarified that in there, removed those last 2 bullets to give a little bit of clarity there. And then clarified the language around the stat pay in 6.3, just to make sure it was consistent with the provincial regs. So other than that, no major changes in the policy, and so nothing changed the intent, no substantive changes. So it's ready for
Second and final notice.
Second and final notice today.
Great. Well,
Motion to approve.
second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, 9.1, infrastructure and operations, tandem dump truck award.
Morning, Council.
Wait, I'm not buying any. Of course,
Good morning.
ATVs with $30
Left an RFD on your desk because as of Wednesday, I had a notification of a change. It was too late to get it into your package. We are recommending the award of the tandem dump truck to Silver's Garage. They were notified on the 22nd that the engine that was in their tender is no longer available immediately. It's on blank on Tuesday, you can't get it anymore. So they have provided a different engine for us, which did raise the price a little bit to $239,226.42. They are keeping their trade allowance for our existing dump truck that we're trading in at $17,500. So the total for 4HST will now be $221,726.42, which is still within our budget of $250,000. So my request is to approve the purchase and award to Silver's Garage in Bridgewater.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sometimes we, not too often here, but other units and other governments sometimes dispose of their assets through other means instead of a trade-in. Like they'll actually sell them outright. When do we decide to do that versus trading in? Like I'm just curious. Like
I can't answer.
No, we have tried to sell, in my experience in the past, we've tried to sell them in-house and we've gotten a lot less money than trade-ins. So in the recent years, trade-in has been the better way to go.
Okay. Somebody want to move, we approve? I mean, it's in the budget, we need it. Second. Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I go buy a travel trailer?
Well, everything's quite expensive.
Pretty nice trucks.
Now you can do it. 9.2, draft letter MLA regarding Bayswater beach issues.
So this issue came to council already, and I think we directed staff to write the letter, but before it went out, come back here. So here it is. Beach still stinks. Same folks are still complaining. Hoping this council will send this letter, and hopefully this will be the last time we send it in this council term.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, if nobody has a problem with us sending it, because I'll sign it now that I'm allowed. Okay, we'll send it. Okay, Michael Harnish, reimbursement for taxes, overdue taxes.
Yeah, I got this from one of my residents, I sent it off to Tim, because there's a lot of information in there, and I wasn't sure how accurate all the information was, so I wanted staff to have a look at it before change here. If anyone read the letter, they can see what his issue was. He moved to 10 beaches, and he had one address, and then the address would change. He says the tax bills he thought was part of his, I guess his lien or his loan, whatever, and didn't get paid. Anyway, Tim?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, everything in here is accurate. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. A little bit of context just for everyone's information, council and anyone in the public who might be interested. As you mentioned, this property was, when he purchased it, it had a lot number as the official address in our records. He received a civic address, which was of course different than the lot number, and did not update billing records. So I can kind of understand how, from his perspective, like, you gave me my address. What do you mean you didn't have my address? But really, there's a lot more scenarios where we can't just update someone's billing address because they've got a civic number. There are a number of people who have PO boxes, for example, or who want their property tax bill sent somewhere else. So that's where that information happened. We do include information for residents and to make sure their address is updated in the newsletter that would go out periodically. I noticed that his capitalized final property tax bill. I think he might have misinterpreted that as some sort of collection notice. It is literally just, we have an interim bill and a final bill every year. I just wanted to clarify that wasn't some sort of like accusation or anything like that. It's just what we call those bills. So yeah, having some chats with Chad. I think there are some small things we could do a little bit differently going forward to help people better understand this when they get a civic address. Just a simple, hey, do you want us to update your mailing address? Would probably go a long way. We're going to look into doing that for sure. But just some background as to how this situation came to be and why it's, why it ended up where it was.
Jared?
Do we have the authority to do it?
Yes, council would have to do that. That's why it's kind of before you today.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that that was cleared.
Yep, I don't believe there's any reason not to, or that we wouldn't be able to, sorry.
I guess I know Mike quite well. I worked with him a number of years ago, but I can see where the confusion.
He's valid.
He is, and I mean, I can see if he thought he was on his mortgage payments, that's sort of where he thought it was. He's not the type of person, I don't think, to try to mislead us on that issue. As soon as he got the bill, he paid it. And if, he did come in and change his address here. I can see where he was confused. I mean, it maybe it shouldn't have happened, but I can definitely see where if I was in that situation, I might have made the same error. Anyway, he's paid his taxes. He's asked him to forgive them for interest on it. That was 1% over the time.
Yeah, 1% per month for any.
I don't think it's an unreasonable request, but that's me.
We give him the rebate of the interest portion. It is, what he's saying all makes
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And I think we have the authority to do it. We should do it. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second the motion.
I don't mind doing it. What other impacts do you see that having if we do it? Well, it's like
I mean, in theory, anyone who goes through an issue and whether as legitimate as this one seems, there may be others that people say, well, here's my sob story and I don't want to pay my back taxes.
to the wrong place.
Say yes or no?
That is a risk that would, I guess, be incurred here if people think that that's an avenue for them to reduce the amount they paid if they haven't paid their bills.
So we don't have an influx.
But that's a big part of why this would come directly to council, because then it would be up to council to make that decision.
And I think every council or every one of these situations will have its own story, and I think he's written it very clearly.
No, I don't.
With reason, we can approve and disapprove any of the requests that they come in.
Yeah.
Based on what the information you receive. And I have no, it's my area, but I have no problem at all for giving it to somebody who has what I think is a valid reason. That's me.
That's why you second the motion.
Anybody else have any comments?
Well, I share your sort of like trepidation because, you know, really, we didn't strictly do anything wrong. You know, my mail all comes to my office. I don't take anything at home, so that's where my tax bills go.
And you should know whether it's on your.
You know, you should know where your taxes are going, and it's kind of my responsibility as a resident to make sure that my taxes get paid. You know, so, you know, something you should pay attention to, so. You know, I'll support it, I'll go along with this, but I just, you know, we're gonna be,
Yeah.
we gotta be a little bit careful about this, because, you know, as you say, you could open the door to other folks that just are not taking the care they should be taking. I agree, that maybe there's some little things we could do, put a checkbox there when you're filling out your new request for address or whatever, that,
Make
you
sure
know,
that
make
it's
this my
on
billing
your tax
address or
bill.
something like that. If we don't already have that, that's good, but anyways, there's a motion, so.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay, 10.2 is removed. 10.3, Lunenburg County Accessibility Committee regarding the appointment of vacancies. And there are recommendations here.
Yep, there's a recommendation to appoint Gregory Novak and Louise Hopper to the Lunenburg County Accessibility Advisory Committee, each for a term of 3 years.
Do you need a motion?
Yep.
So moved. That we appoint Gregory Novak and Louise Hopper to the Lunenburg County Accessibility Advisory Committee each for a term of 3 years.
Seconder?
Second the motion.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay, 11.1, Community Development and Recreation Designated Community Fund Request from Chester Curling Club.
Very much.
They're pretty straightforward, but if there's any questions coming through, and in this particular case, the club followed the policy, and they're now requesting the funds. We had confirmation that the funds were received.
There you go.
It's their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Jerry?
Yes.
He seconded it.
Discussion?
That's your
All those in favor? Yeah, why would we keep it?
Their money.
Well, yeah, we can keep it for a
Thank
second.
you, Don.
You're welcome.
I was on the next item.
Okay, 11.2, district grant requests. And we have 3. We can separate them if you want, or we can do it all at once if you want.
I think I'd like to separate them. I'd like to separate them.
Okay. District 3, St. Stephen's Parish, Musical Friends, $1,000.
Yeah, that's an organization that supports the whole municipality.
Well aware.
And I know it's going to be out of District 3 budget, and I just want to give others the opportunity to contribute.
I'll give you whatever's left in mine.
All gone.
I'll remember that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Having none, I just want to have the opportunity to say you supported it. But if you choose not to, I'll support the whole thing. I'll make that motion.
Seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. District 7, Studio Singers.
Yeah, so it's
She wants it approved. I know that, I asked her.
I get a clear conflict.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
boy.
you saying that.
He's a singer in the band.
No problem.
Motion to approve.
Seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. And let the minutes reflect that Derek did declare a conflict.
Okay.
That's why I wanted them separated, Mr. Warden.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. District 7, Canaan District Hall, she wants that approved too.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Okay.
They do pretzels and days. I used to go out and I used to have a slice of every pie I had. So it's like 9 pieces of pie.
He did
That's like the
too.
whole lot.
He did.
I did it a couple times. It was bad.
Hard to
On the
do.
way home.
Hard to do.
Okay, we're on 11.3.
Good at the time.
11.3, infrastructure and operations solid waste regarding Region 6 annual budget approval, along with correspondence dated from Region 6 solid waste management regarding budget approval.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, on the chair, sorry. This should be a relatively easy one. I come to you each year. It's respectfully recommended that council approve to support the Region 6 solid waste management budget for 24-25. As per the attached budget letter and direct staff to respond to the regional coordinator on or before March 15th of this year. This budget was presented to Region 6 Intermunicipal Committee for the year, and we need to get that letter in by March 15th should we approve. This would happen March 1st, 2023. They had approved the motion that the Region 6 budget in the amount of $152,921 be invoiced to members of council as presented. And there's some attachments I believe that you have. So just wanted to check in with you on the budgetary section. Just a brief bit. The municipality building for 24-25 at 11.71% population for the region will be $17,926, slightly higher than the contribution last year of around $14,000, and last year's overall budget was $121,000. Allocations between member municipalities have remained consistent within the previous years, so we're all sharing that increase in costs. These increases are mainly due to just rent and insurance and wages and things like that.
Anybody have any issues?
Move to approve the recommendation.
Seconder? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Good day.
Thank you.
Okay. .4, Wendy Chase, Chairperson, District 1 Community Center, requesting council's consideration of a letter of support for the center to include a letter of application.
In short, they're going for some grants outside and they're looking for our letter. They first asked me, but I thought it would be better coming from council. So here it is. I'm hoping this council will support them in their search for money. Thank you.
Second. Discussion? Oh, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Yeah. No, it's only a letter, right? Those are pretty simple.
You guys are quick when there's no money involved.
Yeah, no money involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 11.5. Are you going to speak to that one?
Brian's gonna
Oh,
speak.
Brian, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, yes.
and in the spirit of no money attached in, we have another letter of support.
This is asking other people.
Yeah, exactly. So what I have before you is a request for a decision to provide a letter of support for the South Shore Multicultural Association to include this letter of support in their application to act as a local immigration partnership, to form a local immigration partnership in the South Shore, so in the regions of Lunenburg and Queens. We don't currently have one in the region. It's to provide a coordinated plan and strategy around settlement services and a target action plan to provide a welcoming location for people who are newcomers to the area. And so they only open up these requests through Citizenship and Immigration Canada every 5 years, I believe it is, and the process takes quite some time. But if they can demonstrate that they have the support of the surrounding municipalities for providing these services, they can fast track that process. So letters of support have already been provided by Modal, Town of Bridgewater, and the Region of Queens approved theirs earlier this week in council. And so what you have before you is a request to approve the provision of letters of support in their application by the end of this month in January to go in with their application to provide these services throughout the Region of Queens.
Questions, anybody? Anybody prepared to say I'm allowed to sign it?
So moved.
Okay.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Pretty good for your first ask. Now, I believe that's it.
Yeah, you can.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah. Seconder,
Second.
discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carried, got the button pressed off?